All right, I think my voice works. I'm gonna wait here because I just sent out that email. I'm trying to see if I can put this also in the appointment world because this is just like my own room, so it's not like an actual. So I have and I'm recording, so so I'll I usually try to edit it before I post it. Last week didn't record at all while I did my whole thing, which I didn't know until it was too late. So anyways, um, yeah, if I can't figure out how to do it, I'm just going to send it. Actually, that's going to be the link for all of the broadcasts. So if it works, it'll work because that's why I didn't want to keep making appointments. Instead, I just figured we'd do this. All right, I have opened the chat. I'm assuming, and you should be able to see that. I'm talking. You can hear me? Yes. Oh, let's see fun things. Hold on.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so quickly, and because Nicole, you're here. So I found out what the problem was. So some people are getting notices that are saying that they're going to be withdrawn in 7 days because they haven't attended class. So that's just a screw up on Chamberlain's part because the two things that you had to do last week, right? There was the introductory discussion, right, where you sort of introduced yourself and did all that. And then you had the EDAPT model or module. So both of those, neither one of them registered that you had attended class. Like they just, you got points and you got completed whether you completed it or not. So it didn't register anybody's attendance. So they're going to try to change that. So in the future, doing the discussion will register. So everybody most likely, unless you get a specific email from me telling you like they're going to withdraw you unless you do some assignment really quickly, then just assume if you got that first notice, that was just an error. But it was totally confusing. Okay. Does anybody have questions right this second? Because I would hate for people to just sort of.
I wanted to ask a question about my proposal for my topic. I'm not sure if you had given us like some pre-topics that we were supposed to choose from. So I basically made up a topic, which is not related to nursing at all.
Okay.
So I wanted to know if it was okay.
Well, okay, so hold on. Let's see. So you can see so there is a theme, right? So they pick a theme. I'm in student view, please. Sorry. All right, so I'm in the announcements world, right? And so every week there's an announcement, but there's also a theme announcement, which was earlier. January theme. So it's pretty broad, right? So the impact of social media. And then they sort of, you're going to get recent sources. And then they gave some examples here, right? Whatever those. And you can do those or you can come up with anything. But no matter what, there has to be it has to do, it needs to do with how social media affects somebody or something. I mean, it's really is very broad. Is that going to work?
Yeah, I did not know that there was like, I didn't even see that announcement. So I basically just made up a theme, which is like my own thing. I'm gonna have to do it all over.
Oh, so you're not close to it?
Not
Okay.
even close. I did sports, so something that had to do with sports. So I'm
Well,
gonna
I
have to
mean,
do it.
social media is pretty broad. You could do the impact of social media on sports. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like it is kind of, if you still wanted to do something in the area, but I don't know. That
Okay.
might not help you at all.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry about that. I should have made that clearer for people. All right, so that's that's sort of the main thing. So for discussions, right? There was the discussion for week one. We introduced ourselves, all of those things. And then there's cyber cafes. So these are things, this is new to me, this new model, right? So they are basically places for people to go and like write about stuff. And they give you some starter questions. And I'm going to continue to like drop in information, but I'm not really supposed to, I guess, like talk directly to people in the cyber cafe. So, but I'm going to keep doing some, I'll always like drop in information that I hope, will help people finish whatever um, the assignment is for the week. So I'll just add that in case other people were, that's right, I'm a test student. And so far this week is just this general idea about rhetorical, like the rhetorical situation, which is just another way of saying a communication. Could be writing, could be a speech, could be anything. These are the elements involved in it, and you're just sort of aware of those when you're writing, right? You're sort of, when you're writing a paper, you're sort of aware of like who you are and what you know about the subject and your experience with it. You sort of know, who the audience is supposed to be, the purpose, right? You're trying to argue and support an argument or take a position and support that. What the subject is, it's in the form of an essay, and then maybe a broader context. Anyway, these are all just sort of very general ideas. The rhetorical situation is what people call it. This video is the video from the overview night. There was a night where our course lead did the overview. I also noticed that she sort of changed the link at the very last moment, so I know some people were not able to get there. This is the first time she's done this particular job thing. So anyway, she found it. I mean, she did it, and so I put it here so you can watch that. She goes over each of the sections of the course, right? Goes and gives you an explanation, and it's our course, so it's not like general in the sense of like just completely general. It really is about our course. All right, and then did you guys have to use an access code, or did you just click on this and you were good? I'm curious.
I just clicked on the link.
And that was it. Sweet. Okay. Super good. Thank you very much. All righty. Okay, so let me go on. All right, so last week, again, so everybody you're bearing with me just because. So I've been teaching maybe for, I don't know, a year and a half, which is a lot of 8-week classes. But this is the first one, right, where they're doing this EDAP thing. Probably, well, many of you already know about this because I guess most of the courses in Chamberlain have rolled out EDAP earlier. So we're like one of the last courses to get this. So I'm just adjusting, things that I used to use or make. I'm making new things now and so on. So the first week is not difficult. Okay, let's see, I do this on purpose. The first week, right, it's just a discussion and then the EDAP. Then week 2, sort of the beginning of the whole process where you're writing this argument research proposal. And then you're also doing the EDAP lessons. So those are the 2 parts that you're trying to focus on. And I'm trying to get all my like graphic stuff to show up at some point. So let me go to the module. I'm in student view, so in theory, this is how you see the world, as it were. And see if they'll let me do my EDAP business. That helps everybody. It seems like people know how to go through EDAP pretty well. So probably, like I said, better than I do. But right, this is the dashboard, and then you sort of have to go through the entire unit, right? Each unit. So this would be, well, I can go back to it. I believe this is the preparing, right? So this was introduction to research. That was last week. Now it's preparing an argument research proposal. And it goes, you go through it and it makes little quizzes, like a little questions as you go. And then at the end, there's sort of like, it's basically the same questions as far as I can tell, but and then you're done and you get points for that automatically in the grade book. Also, as far as I can tell, it's like you can just keep going. Like I think if I'm wrong, someone should totally tell me. But I think like if you finish it, it'll unlock the next one. So in theory, you're sort of negotiating this, but we're trying to, keep with our 8-week program, right? So there's one you're doing each week. So that's the lesson part, basically. That's the explanation of what you're doing, and then the proposal part, which has an example and I believe and a template. Okay. All right, so the template or the yeah, this is what it looks like, I guess. This is the template. Okay, it's going to say, and it may somewhere still, unless they did get rid of it, like APA format and so on. So, but really what you're doing is you're just filling in the template. And so you want to make sure that, and you can do, as far as APA goes, doing, double spaced answers. I guess that would be APA, but you're not meant to be turning it into an essay at all. You're just sort of writing your answers, and it even tries to guide you with how in depth you need to go. So it's like, what's your stance? So you have to pick a side. You're not really doing a survey paper about like, here's the impacts. There's some good impacts and some bad impacts of social media. We all know that. So instead, you're going to pick some sort of side. So it causes harm to teenagers, could be, right? Even though the whole game with picking a position is you're trying to pick one that's not so broad that it's impossible, or that's so narrow that you won't have enough to write about. So this is usually the part where you're trying to figure that out. You decide, okay, I'm going to take this position, and then it's just trying to get you. This is sort of brainstorming stuff. So why is it a good argument research topic, and who would disagree with it, and who do you think your audiences will be? And you're trying to think of anybody who would all care about whatever you're talking about. And then the paragraph. So you're basically trying to write down, here's what I wanted to point out. You're writing down everything you already know about whatever the subject is, right? So again, it's like a brainstorming space. And then you want to do this part, which people sometimes forget about, but you want to explain to the best of your ability. You want to think about, I guess, and then try to explain what you don't know, right? So that's part of this research idea. So you go, here's the things I know about social media and how it harms teenagers. I've heard this, I know this, or whatever. Then you want to actively bring up things that you do not know. Like, I do not know how many people it affects, or if it's just the United States, or if it's all social media, or just a couple companies, or whatever. You're just trying to think of, and you're just writing them down. You don't have to, that's about it. So you're like, here's what I know and what I don't know. So you want to make sure that you do that. So that's part of it. And then the last thing here is you're just search phrases. Like, so when you go to the library, you're going to type in to get specific articles. The better you choose your words, or focus them, the better the results will be as far as your the research that you turn up. So it's not a difficult proposal, and it's not very, very long, but it does involve you sort of starting out with the topic and really trying to just brainstorm around it. Because, and this is the part where, right, you're trying to make sure that it's arguable. One of the things I tell people about picking an argument is to make sure that it's arguable, is that someone should be able to basically be on the opposite side, right? That's how you can tell. So if I said something like, American education should be improved, okay? Super broad. It's a useless argument, right? Because there's no one who's going to say, American education should not be improved, right? There's no one on the other side of that. So all it really is just coming up with the language so that it's more specific enough, like the government should spend more money on public education. Okay, now I'm getting closer to an argument, right? Because it's actually it's something that other people could be like, no, I don't think the government should give more money to public education, but they should do this other thing or whatever. So anyway, as you're trying to think of it, that's sort of the important part. Trying to come up with, just keep in mind that you want somebody to be able to argue the other side, right? So just saying that like social media, harms the teenagers' mental health, it's like, okay, if you want to try to get it to a place, because the opposite of that is social media doesn't harm teenage mental health, and that might not really be a viable argument either. So instead, maybe it would be, I don't know, like it ruins relationships or it helps relationships. That would be more of a, that would be something that you could do if you took a position on social media's impact on relationships in general. And you're going to try to come up with 3 main ideas eventually, but that's sort of for the next week. In any event, the thing you're going to do with this argument essay proposal, so you really do want to put some effort into it, because for next week, you're going to peer review each other's writing this particular document. This is just really helpful, or it goes wherever it goes. Okay, so this is another thing I would, if I were you, just make sure you had a copy of it. That's useful. They used to give this away too late, I thought. Right, but this is the sort of here's the process you're going through, right? And it just in each week what you're supposed to do. So, and what will happen. So week 2 you're doing this proposal. Week 3 you're going to peer review other people's, and then you're also going to develop sort of an outline. So anyway, each step is trying to get closer and closer to a final research essay that has that uses scholarly sources and citations and is in APA format. So the APA format will matter more eventually than when you actually are writing the essay. But again, they try to give you templates along the way. Excuse me. So there are also templates, and if there aren't, maybe I post them, that are templates for the whole paper. Just like here, now, put in whatever you're. Okay. So basically, the thing will be you're going to do this proposal. You're going to write this. You're going to submit it. You're going to have peer review people groups, and I'll set those up for next week. And then I'll also make comments on that. And then you'll do the next thing, and then that'll be peer reviewed, and I'll give feedback on that as well. So that's sort of the pattern that we'll be going, that we'll be doing. Am I the only one? No, maybe. Test students online. Okay. So yeah, this course chat thing, I discovered it just recently. It's what it looks like, meaning like it says who's online at that particular moment. I don't know if that means that they're just in Canvas, like you could be on some totally other course or something. But anyway, it's a way to sometimes just, if you want, I don't know if it'll be useful at all, to be honest. I just thought like, oh, that's kind of cool when I'm online, and people, if they see I'm online, they have a question, they could just ask me. But we'll see. I don't. Anyway, that was my little idea.
I have a question.
You go for it.
Actually, I did post probably the first week a question about like how to get into the meeting, and I did notice that someone also did post something as well talking about like some document that wasn't working for them
Right.
in that chat box. I don't know if you got that or not.
Yeah. No, I thought I did. Let me see if I will. In the
chats.
Oh, but okay, wait, hold on. Like in this world, no. Oh wait, depends on your class. I'm sorry. I have 2 classes, so this is why another reason that and you wouldn't possibly, you couldn't know which one you're in actually, because that's. I did get that, and I actually I refreshed the link for that document, and then said if they were still having trouble, you would probably want to use Chrome.
Okay.
But I went back, I went back into the post, erased the old one, and put in the new one, so that one was there. The other thing was, the link about the overview. Was that the overview meeting or something? Because that I wasn't running that, and she changed the link, so that was not great.
Okay.
But yeah, I am trying to stay on the best things that work. I mean, for real, the question and answer is good, but like if you actually send me a message through the inbox here, it'll go right to my email, and I'm checking email all day, every day. And then the other thing that you did, right? You texted me, and the text is almost immediate just because I have it, right? Like, I mean, I can respond immediately.
And I do have one more question. So for all like the broadcast meetings, will we just get an email? Because I do go to the new WebEx, and there's always like doesn't show anything posted.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to see if I can also post it there, but I'm gonna send out this exact same link. I mean, you could pretty much save this link somehow, like if you want to save the email or something and just use it. But I will always send it. I'll send it out the same link usually right before I get started because
Okay.
it's tricky to get people. Okay, so see, it is trickier for me this time. Also, having two classes and I can't really put them together. They told me because something. It's mostly because of EDAPT, I think. But it sort of makes it. Here we go. This is probably right. The link. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have one more. So yeah, the other things I think I was all set on. Yeah, so the example, right, is just a filled out the example for this week for week 2 is just the proposal filled out. All right, I have how long? Yeah, that one would be interesting. So I have something from the chat over here. Are people able to do the EDAPT in the time that they give you? Now, I didn't totally realize. I mean, I know there's a suggested time limit, right? What happens if you go over it? Do they let you go over it, or does
You
it
can
So
go over it, but it takes a very long time for you to do it.
yeah, so basically in my NR 103 class, she told me that to not look at the time frame that they give you because you usually do go over the time frame.
Okay. And it doesn't matter, I'm assuming, right?
No,
No,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay, so it doesn't like automatically do something with the grade or anything. It just sort of just tells you that.
No, you
No.
just have to like
Okay.
whenever you go to do the EDAP, just be prepared to be there for a while because it
Right.
doesn't take.
Okay, so that's the answer. So the answer is it's taking people longer than they're pretending it takes, and then they just put the time there to what? Help everybody feel anxious? That seems like a terrible idea.
There's
What is
also
that
another
about?
thing that I didn't realize, but my NO1R3 class told me about is that you should try to like master all like the quizzes and the reflect because you could like get points taken off if you don't complete it like master.
Oh, like the questions along the way?
Yes, because like at the end, like there's a reflect when it gives you like a main overview of
Right.
the quiz.
Yep.
So you should try to pass that entirely, get all of them right, so you get it fully mastered. Because if it's just like 2 blue check marks, if anyone has noticed, then like you would get like points taken off since you didn't master it entirely.
Yeah, I
Oh, I
noticed.
see.
It takes off points for real.
Okay. The mastering idea. Okay,
I
that's
guess the
good to
point
know.
of the EDAP is that we're supposed to be making notes along the way, so that should be the reason. Like that should help when you're doing like the review quiz or the review test at the end.
Right. I did the very first week, and I don't know that. And it seemed like the questions were the same. Like at the end were like a lot of them were the same as the questions I'd answered along the way. I don't know if that's actually true or not.
In your class, it is, but in NR 103, it's not.
Ah, okay. This is it, right? Because you do this for other, obviously, right? Okay. Um, is this one at least easier than your other classes?
Yeah,
At least,
definitely.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Gotta
it is.
yeah, you should get something out of it. Geez. All right. All right, good. Well, that's actually super helpful for me to know what that's about, and that people should just ignore the time. That would make me super. I would hate that. That's awful. So it would make me feel like, how dumb am I? Oh, anyways, don't. Yeah, so don't pay attention to the time. We don't care. Eat up, people. Come on there. Okay, so I think I will. I'm going to try to. I'm worried that if I try to set up like an appointment in the WebEx, in the new WebEx world, it will not let me use this room, because this room I just wanted to use because it just never changes. And it seems super useful instead of having to, but if I figure it out, I'll put it there. Otherwise, I may just post it, I don't know, like at the top of the module page. I'll try to think of a place where people always can be. And I'll also send out emails for it. So it's always Wednesday. It's always this time, and I don't, and because I know schedules are just whacked, and it's also weird in the day mostly. So, anyways, but I'm also always here, whether I'm doing a little broadcast thing or not. So, because of the way EDAP is set up and how they're very protective of their stuff, I can't really go through them. I noticed, like, go through the whole module with people because it doesn't let me do that as an instructor. So I'll try to find the main ideas that they're trying to get at and talk about those and introduce those or explain those during the discussion chat. I mean, during the broadcast, because I think that's the only way to actually help people do it. Yeah, because so for this week, it's the proposal document thing. Let's stop.